helping hands. Together, we can make a difference and bring hope to those in need.
Good afternoon. This is Lunchtime News. Thank you so much for making time to join us this hour. And my name is Jackie Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter is Brian Muraro. Now, to kick us off this afternoon, 8 people have died after they were swept away by floods along River Muoni in Makueni County. Witnesses say the victims who were returning home after a meeting were swept away by floodwaters as they tried to cross the river from Kavudu to Mutiambua. This as over 100,000 families have been displaced following heavy rainfall and flooding in Tana River County. Joseph Wakongo with more details.
Tragedy has struck Mutiambua area of Makueni County after swollen River Muoni swept away 8 villages Thursday night. Witnesses say the victims were crossing from Kavudu to Mutiambua when the incident occurred around 10 p.m. The villagers, some of whom are relatives, are said to have ignored earlier warnings that the river was swollen following heavy rainfall at Kavudu Township. Meanwhile, over 10,000 families have been displaced following heavy rainfall and flooding in Tana River County. According to County Governor Dado Godana, villagers are in dire need of humanitarian aid, despite the county having received 550 million shillings from the national government to mitigate against flood effects.
What we are now paying for emergency is 32 million. That's what we have in the system. Even if we say we are expanding it, then it means the more we expand, we are exhausting. We cannot be able to react to anything after we exhaust. So probably now up to early December or up to December, we can be able to react to these situations.
Addressing journalists in his office, Godana said they required at least 2 choppers to airlift food relief to villages that have become inaccessible after the Garissa, Nairobi, Wayu, Ijara, Masalani, Asakone and Waldena roads were cut off.
We have a very big population, of course, displaced. So we have so many IDP camps all over, in Garsen, in Galole, in Bura, in Galederto, in Bangale. As we speak, you cannot access Tana North from Garsen. You cannot access Masalani because Masalani bridge is already cut off. You cannot go there by any means except for maybe boats, canoes, and maybe by air.
Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry Chairman Tana River County Branch Hassan Barissa said the destruction of roads has made it difficult for business people to transport goods.
Tulikuwa na mpangilio ya kusaidia wafanyabiashara 400 million shillings, lakini sasa wale World Bank hivi sasa wako na wasiwasi kwa sababu hiyo pesa ni loan za revolving fund, ambapo sasa wameinga wasiwasi kwamba tukishatuma hizo pesa inaweza kuwa isirudishwe.
Joseph Ohungu, Lunchtime News.
And now we cross over to Bondo Teachers Training College, where a graduation is currently underway. And speaking currently is Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo speaking. Let's listen in.
Nobody will be required to pay any money to learn the digital skills. But our ultimate objective is to ensure that our youth get jobs. Today we do not have the white-collar jobs. Where where we have got an abundance of jobs is in the digital space. We are working in partnership with the members of parliament to ensure that in each and every ward in this country, we are going to set up a digital hub for purposes of digital skilling, and then we go a step further as government to connect our youth to global technological companies to get digital jobs. I was just discussing with Dr. Ochanda, and he has told me that as far as Bodo constituency is concerned, he has already put in place the machinery and is looking forward to us rolling out the digital hub in the new year. We will have our youth right here in the villages, but working for technological companies in America, in Germany, in London, in India, just to mention but a few. Again, the direction we are going as government is to ensure that all government services are going to be available on the e-citizen platform. We want all government services to be available virtually. It will no longer be necessary for members of the public to physically visit government offices to get government services. When we came into office last year, we only had 350 services available on the e-citizen platform. 1 year down the line, we have managed to automate, to digitalize a total of 13,482 services, which are now available technologically. And members of the public will now be able to consume government services from the comfort of wherever you are, including but not limited to your houses. All you need is a telephone, and then you connect to the government service. And to facilitate this, we are aware that we have been having a challenge of affordability of smartphones. As government, we have partnered with the private sector, and 1 month ago, the President commissioned the first set of cheap, smart-enabled telephones, which we have rolled out into the market at a unit cost of about $50. So moving forward, you will be able to have cheap, smart-enabled telephones. You will be able to consume government services from the comfort of wherever you are. So we will not have a situation where you have to go to government offices. We are going to eliminate.
Well, heavy downpour being witnessed in Bondo as Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo stating that the government is committed to create jobs for the youth. Now, moving on, President William Ruto has urged the East Africa community to adopt innovative and sustainable measures towards mitigating the effects of climate crisis as the region heads to Dubai for the COP28 later this month. Speaking during the EAC High-Level Forum on Climate Change and Food Security in Arusha on Thursday, the president pointed out that Africa will showcase its assets, including hard-working and skilled human capital, during the global forum. He pointed out that these resources offer the globe the best opportunity for global green industrialization and thus the ability to decarbonize manufacturing.
We have decided as a country that we need to make sure that our water towers, our wetlands are protected so that we can use them to collect, harvest, store enough water to assist us manage our food security requirements. And it is the reason why we made a conscious decision that we are going to plant 15 billion trees to protect our wetlands and to protect our water towers, logging. And to achieve that, we just authorized additional forest rangers. 1,500 forest rangers have just graduated to make sure that we have adequate human capital to protect the forest cover that we have.
Nadhani it's high time sisi wa Afrika tuache kutegemea sana wengine kwenye climate financing. Nadhani tuje na strategies, mbinu ambazo tutakuwa na mifuko yetu wenyewe ya climate financing, kwa sababu kutegemea wengine tunacheleweshwa.
And now we cross over to the Supreme Court, where Chief Justice Martha Koome is currently launching the Social Transformation Blueprint. Let's listen in.
System will be
Apologize for that hitch. Now we shall be taking you back there later on. For now, we move on. A section of ODM members in Migori County are calling for a ceasefire among warring factions in the party ahead of a scheduled visit by the party leader Raila Odinga this weekend. Speaking after a consultative meeting with party officials from the county's 8 sub-counties, Joseph Olala, the organizing secretary of the ODM party in Migori, said Odinga's two-day visit in the region will strengthen the party numerically in preparation for grassroots elections scheduled for early next year.
We have identified one sub-county called Suna West, which the issue at Suna West have remained unsolved, but advised that the Suna West people has to sit down and make some restructuring of our party leadership. Secondly, we came here to give information to the public that this week, likely in the weekend, we are going to have our party leader around.
Celebrated Kenyan chef Maliha Mohammed has achieved the Guinness World Record for the longest solo cooking session. Maliha claimed the longest cooking marathon individual award after clocking 150 hours 11 seconds. She broke the previous record of 119 hours 57 minutes 16 seconds set by Irishman Alan Fisher on November 7th, 2023.
For 6 days, Kenyan chef Maliha Mohammed's physical and mental endurance were put to test in the kitchen.
we accept gifts in M-Pesa.
After over 150 hours of showcasing her prowess in the kitchen, she now holds the longest home kitchen cooking marathon title. In her initial attempt, she lasted an impressive 90 hours and 15 minutes, shattering the previous record of 68 hours, 30 minutes and 1 second. Nigerian chef Hilda Bassi reclaimed the title shortly after, before being surpassed by Irish chef Alan Fisher.
So I had to cook under the environment that is homely, and it's not commercial kitchen, just home kitchen appliances, the basic ones. And it takes about 12 weeks for Guinness World Record to review the whole footages, videographic, photographic evidences. They need to review that in 12 weeks. So the day that you submit and it has been accepted, your submission, we count from that day onwards till 12 weeks has passed. Otherwise, if I want an adjudicator to come to Kenya, I need to pay them 10,500 euro pounds.
She's an amazing brand ambassador for the brand. We'll continue to support whatever endeavor she has. Again, we did it in 2019. We're back here to do it again. I can only imagine what she's probably cooking up in her head on what she's going to want to do next. And we'll be right there with her. She's an amazing woman. This is a sport. I mean, she has been standing here since Wednesday night, non-stop, cooking around the clock. How many times have you laid your head on the pillow since then? I mean, this is something that she trained for.
Chef Maliha and her team are now awaiting official ratification of the record from the Guinness World Record team.
No matter what age, culture, ethnicity, tradition, religion, your dream has no expiry date.
Nancy Okware, Lunchtime News.
Well, indeed, your dream has no expiry date. Now, in other news, a section of residents of Kiambu County are now calling on the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and Directorate of Criminal Investigation to probe how public funds are being utilized by the county leadership. The residents allege the governor is spearheading projects without public participation geared towards serving his own interest. They want the projects audited in what they say could end the rift between the governor, MCAs and other elected leaders.
Na ndio sasa imefika pahali tunauliza EACC ikuje Kiambu haraka, hivyo inawezekana, wakuje haraka speed, ndio wachukue hiyo mahesabu na waanze kufanya, ndio watu wa Kiambu wasikapoteze pesa nyingine. Tunataka zile ward fund, zile milioni 10 zikuje mashinani, naye MCA akuje afanye kazi vile tutamfanyia. Na ukicheza na sisi, huyo MCA umefanya kitu bure, tutakuja kumrudisha na wewe tukupeleke nyumbani.
And on health matters, a section of health stakeholders are raising concerns that some pharmaceutical products dealers are using illegal means to import substandard medicines which are then supplied to unsuspecting patients. Meds Laboratory and is trying to remedy the situation by providing state-of-the-art facilities to test the quality of medicine from suppliers. The intervention will also enhance the Ministry of Health in pharmacovigilance.
When medicines are not manufactured using the right standards, we talk about good manufacturing practices, for example, then the end product of what is churned out into the market does not meet, quality assurance standards. That means the product can be classified as substandard. If a pharmaceutical product does not have the required levels of active pharmaceutical ingredient, then they'll not be able to make the patient well. But when we test independently and we make sure that whatever we supply meets those particular quality standards, then the patients will be able to get well.
The National Cohesion and Integration Commission, in partnership with the European Centre for Electoral Support, has called for meaningful engagement of the youth in electoral processes. This even as partners have opined that to entrench cohesion in the country, young Kenyans must feel that they have not been left out in decision-making. NCAC and the European Centre for Electoral Support have commemorated the Kenya project whose main aim is to promote peace and cohesion in Kenya under the theme Elections Bila Noma.
NCAC has a main mandate of helping the country to go through a peaceful electoral process before, during and after the elections.
What already has been said about the Pro-Peace project was the inclusivity that it had on having youth and women on board to ensure that they got equal chance to engage in the electoral process. And in the process, we got to understand what our roles and as women and as youth are, even in the electoral process.
And now on the corridors of justice, a police officer has been found guilty of demanding the sum of 1 million shillings from a Chinese national in order to release him from custody. Corporal Julius Onyango Uma, who was also found guilty of concealing 200,000 shillings he had received as a bribe. His colleague, Charles Masharia Wanjiru, was found guilty of obstruction and being violent at Kabete Police Station, where they were arrested by Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission officers. The trial magistrate Thomas Nzioka, sitting at Anti-Corruption Court, acquitted 2 other police officers, Yuna Kuvukilo and Joseph Gatecha, for lack of evidence. The offence was committed on 28th November 2018.
Section 59 of the National Police Service Act number 11A of 2011, and the fifth schedule thereof, which is instructive to the police officers on the arrest and detention of suspects. These provisions are commands to police officers of all ranks in mandatory tone on the manner to detain a suspect upon arrest. Having found that and for the accused person not guilty on all the charges, shall order that and for the accused person shall be set at liberty forthwith unless otherwise lawfully held. If you are set at liberty, you can.
Residents of Miritini in Jomvu constituency, Mombasa County, have raised concerns over the increasing environmental pollution caused by a fish processing company in the area, which is strongly disposing tons of decayed fish waste. According to the locals, the smell from the decayed fish has created an unbearable living environment, which is also negatively affecting their businesses as customers are avoiding the area due to the stench. The residents are now calling on the relevant government authorities to intervene in the matter.
Kutoka ile janga litokea hapa Southern limekuwa linatuathiri sana, haswa hata pale katika sehemu tunayobangaiza. Abiria wanapofika wanalalamika hali ya mazingira imekuwa mbaya, mpaka mitaani harufu imezidi kuingia kila sehemu, mpaka pia kuna wamama biashara hapa wanalia sana. Kwa hivyo mimi naomba tu serikali ajaribu kuangalieni hii harufu inatukera. Juzi mama fulani amesimia hapa, amekuwa na ujauzito kisema ni harufu.
Sasa hiyo watu wa kununua chakula hawezi kaa kwa hoteli kwa amani. Maana yake harufu anakuja na mama za hata mimi mwenyewe kupika chakula lazima nipike chakula nikiwa nina mask kwa mapua. Naambia hii biashara itaendaje? Maana yake sasa tumepoteza mpaka makastoma. Hiyo ni shida kwetu.
The Pokot community living in Ratia area, Olmoran ward in Laikipia County want government intervention in what they term is discrimination by a section of National Police reservists working in the area. The community's alleged NPR officers have been collaborating with some officers to impose punitive fines targeting the Pokot community, where they are threatened with jail upon complaints of livestock theft. They further say they are subjected to very tedious processes when they are seeking national identification cards. The residents of Ratia further claim a few days ago, people believed to be from security forces stormed the village, burned houses, destroyed harvests and beat up women and children for reasons not clear.
Iko NPR hapa ameshika ng'ombe na shika ng'ombe kwa mbokani tu area hii. Na vile inashika ng'ombe nashika ng'ombe kama ni 40. Tunawekwa fine, ukienda kutoa hiyo ng'ombe unaenda kuuziwa ng'ombe yako. Na vile unauziwa hiyo ng'ombe, baada ya hapo unauziwa ng'ombe yako, kama ng'ombe ni 20 unaambiwa lete 1200. Baada ulipe 1200 unashikwa tena. Unaambiwa bado utaenda kotini.
Tunalilia serikali kuwa watu angalie sana. Machief wenye wako hii area ni kama ni kabila moja tu ndio wameweka wawe machief. Sisi wengine hatushughulikiwi, hatufanyiwi chochote. Chochote inaweza fanyika hapa hivi. Hata mtu wetu sasa atendekewe na kitu kibaya hapa hivi, hakuna mwenye anashughulikwa. Mali yetu hata ikiibiwa ni ngumu waifuate. Ikiwa jamii zingine wanafuatiliwa vizuri. Naomba serikali watu angalie, na niwe serikali ya juu. Nisijui kama hii serikali ya kaunti yetu kama hawatusikii.
A section of the Mwingi group has urged the Ministry of Tourism to support them start local tourism as Kamutoche Hill, which is known to be the highest hill in the area. The locals have been planting trees at the top of the hill for about 14 years for environmental conservation and other measures. According to the group leader, Temi Muture, the trees can help them start camping sites, zip lines, cable cars and other tourism ventures in a bid to promote local tourism and boost economy in the area.
Minister of Tourism
na department yako ya maneno ya tourism, utalii, tunaomba ukuje upartner na sisi. Maana sio lazima tu tukaone wanyama Masai Mara. Kuna ile inaitwa domestic tourism, na zile tamaduni zetu za Wakamba tunataka kuanza kufunza watalii wa hapa, vijana wetu wanaishi Nairobi, watoto wetu, na pia watalii kutoka mahali kwingine Kenya mzima na dunia mzima. Tunataka kuweka picnic site hapa tumesimama sasa. Iwe mtu akisikia ako stressed kidogo, akitaka kupumzika, akitaka kufanya maombi, anaweza kukuja hapa. Tutaweka nyumba za nyasi kidogo, na pia tunataka kuweka mizinga ya nyuki. Iwe nyuki zinatoka hapa, asali inatoka.
We at the sub-county level of Mwingi West, we are supporting the program 100%, and we are not going to limit anybody. If you have a tree, bring. You can take to the chief office, assistant chief office, nyumba 10 elder, any support group, any circle, tupande wote mti.
And now on education matters, private head teachers now want fairness in Form 1 selections, even as there are still jubilations across the country following KCPE excellent performance of the KCPE exam results. Now more in the KCPE News Roundup.
These were the scenes at Tender Care Junior Academy after the official announcement of the KCPE results by the Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu. At Charo Academy in Kamulu, it was the same script, with the school management attributing the good performance to discipline.
We want to thank them for the good work that they have done. Thank you, our teachers, for the good work they did.
It has been a long journey, and here I am, and I'm extremely happy that they have been teaching us well, and they made sure that we all succeed.
Similar scenes of joy were witnessed in Machakos County schools, where at East Park Academy, situated in Joska in Matungulu, a total of 24 out of 65 students got 400 marks and above.
The Lord has been good to us throughout our whole journey. Our teachers, our parents, our siblings, even our fellow classmates have been supportive during this whole journey, and we thank them truly. We couldn't have done this without you.
At the Alibad Primary School, James Israel, who scored 403, said the secret lay behind obedience and putting God first.
I obtained 403 marks. The secret is just being obedient and listening to your teachers, doing some revision, and putting God first in everything that you do.
We are happy, we are humbled with whatever the scores that we've gotten. We have our learners. This year we had many students in grade 8 which performed so well. They managed to give us a mean score of 358.
Senate Speaker Amason Kingi has urged communities living in northern Kenya to regularly hold cultural festivals in order to foster unity and avert clan rivalry. Kingi said that despite minor cultural differences, the communities such as Sakuye, Gare, El Molo and Rendile still have a lot in common, which can be harnessed to prevent ethnic clashes. He made the remarks while opening the 3-day Marsabit Electoral Festival in Loyangalani, Marsabit County. Marsabit Governor Mohamud Ali noted the festival, saying it would remind the locals of their shared humanity, irrespective of their distinct identities.
It is my hope that this festival will enable us to rediscover our collective identity and the ultimate imperatives of our shared humanity.
Hii vita ndogo ndogo tunaona Marsabit ni kwa sababu jamii haziji pamoja. Lakini mtu ambaye amekuja hapa hivi leo, Murendile amepeana mkono Mgare, El Molo amekumbatiana na Musakuye. With this, haikuwezi kuwa na uhasama hapa.
In other news, the multi-sectoral working committee seeking to unravel the mystery to realize the 2/3 gender parity in elected positions held its sittings in Kisumu County. Residents shared views on ways to realize gender parity, with a majority proposing strengthening political party systems to increase women participation. The committee is expected to collect views that could inform amendments to the law. Achola Simon with more details.
Kisumu residents presented their views to the multi-sectoral working group on the 2/3 gender rule as the government makes deliberate steps towards achieving the elusive 2/3 rule as enshrined in the Constitution.
The Constitution mandates the state under Article 27(8) that it should take care of appointive and elective positions in the government, whereby the 2/3 principle should be adhered to.
We know that women have been disadvantaged, and like the resolution 1325 tells us, women must have a voice in whatever is happening in decision-making areas and in policy-making areas.
Experts at the forum saying this is the clearest indication yet that the deadlock could be unlocked.
So there are bills people have been talking about in Parliament and outside, but nothing happened. So today we are hopeful this group is going to do something, because we have adhered to the 2010 Constitution. We are doing public participation. We are getting views from all people, women, men, youth, and persons with disabilities.
We have seen 2 counties really realize, it's important to really bridge this gap. We had Uasin Gishu County that was suspended by the court on account of not fulfilling the 2/3 gender rule. We have Nadi County, whose CECs was stood down again. And so I think the country is progressively realizing that, look, this is the law, and we as a country need to be we need to implement our law. Fidelity to the law is not an option.
Former CJ David Maraga is on record having called for the dissolution of Parliament for failing to enact legislations to implement the Constitution within the stipulated deadlines. Residents want more efforts put towards ring-fencing nominations and appointments to enhance women participation in leadership.
Women need to come out and run for seats. They are saying, women themselves are saying, look, we have a lot of challenges running for those seats. So they're very diverse views. There are those members who've come out and said, let us cluster constituencies, let us double the nominative seats, let us let us ensure that we have a 50-50 balance.
Multi-sectoral working group will collate the views across the country that will form part of the reforms that seek to ensure the actualization of the rule. Achola Simon, Lunchtime News, Kisumu County.
Well, that report by Achola Simon brings us off. Fast break here on Lunchtime News. Don't go too far, we still have more to come.
The Institution of Engineers of Kenya was formed in 1972 with the aim of advancing engineering interests for the benefit of human welfare and sustainable development. IEK provides service to its members by organizing seminars, lectures, publications, and trainings to enable them to keep up to date with technical and industrial developments. The institution collaborates with government and other organizations to advance global best practices and the engineering profession. IEK has made significant steps in the advancement of the engineering profession in Kenya and looks forward to playing a pivotal role in Kenya's development into an industrial power.
Huyo mama pesa ilienda.
Iko traumatizing sana. Wewe iko tuendesha mimi pole pole.
Wewe.
Iko painful.
Wewe.
Anarusha watu pesa. Yeye anaitisha, anakuonyesha picha, anakuonyesha bei ya gari.
Ndio alikuwa akue telefa wake wakati kali kitoka. Wiki za kutoka na hiyo kali na ulitokea KBC.
Kutokea gate C ni makosa.
Si makosa.
Mzee, kama una swali la kukusaidia kwa hii kesi.
Where will you get the capital?
We'll be 50-50 partners. You'll run the company your way, and we'll put that in writing too.
I need numbers in that office.
Then have me rehired.
Then prove it. Prove it to me.
You're on fire, Millicent.
You're not even ready for me.
Millicent doesn't care about you. Unless there's something you don't want her to disclose.
Saidia tu.
Namba yako. You mean you don't know me?
I don't think Mr. Kaikara is happy with me coming here.
Don't worry, I'll take care of it.
Do you think these people will care about you after using you? You are nothing. Nothing!
Is that a new girlfriend or it's one of the old ones?
It's not you, obviously.
Just need to understand the dynamics of the music ministry and above all, even the journey of the worshippers and the journey of the people that you see on the pulpit.
That is how nilijipata ni kukunywa, ni kuvuta fegi, ni maform kila time.
Unajua life ya club, you have to just unajiwachilianga.
Believe is you know that you have the calling of God in your life. You are doing ministry, not necessarily looking at what you're getting as a reward from men.
And when you get the reward of men, there's nothing you will really ask God for because you've already gotten your reward.
Join Save a Life Community, a non-profit organization committed to creating positive change for underprivileged and vulnerable members of our society through community empowerment. Our vision is to lead the way in driving transformational initiatives that uplift those in need. We have provided nourishment to more than 60,000 families, empowered over 4,000 young people through skill building programs, transformed over 1,000 street children into responsible citizens, facilitated complex surgeries for over 1,500 individuals, and provided minor surgeries for over 1,000 others who lacked the means to cover their medical expenses.
Welcome back. This is Lunchtime News. Now, in other news, Rift Valley National Polytechnic has linked a deal with data and model validation solutions company Lunchtime Labs to train at least 1,500 youth and women on computer vision and data labeling services. Let's take a look at that story.
We had to match the job requirements and the skills. So we get young people, we train them in the skills required for the AI industry, and then after about 3 months of intensive training, they start working for American companies. Let's say right now, US is our largest market.
Now let's talk business. High inflation has pushed up the cost of operation for microfinance operators. This is according to the latest Kenya Microfinance Industry Biannual Report by research and credit rating firm Augusto and Core, as our reporter Frederick Morkin narrates.
Microfinance institutions have expanded access to financial services, especially for individuals and small businesses who are often excluded from traditional banking system. Despite the high cost of living experienced in 2022 and the first half of this year, microfinance institutions were resilient. This is according to a report by research and credit rating firm Augusto & Co., which suggests that default rates among borrowers have increased due to various microeconomic shocks that have affected businesses and households' ability to repay loans.
The profitability in the sector has been diminishing, and in terms of the quality of loans, we also notice or take note of the increase of non-performing loans in the sector. This is mainly because of the operating environment that microfinance institutions are currently facing. And we hope moving forward, the regulators, the government is going to take note of the insights that are coming out of this report.
The report indicates that Kenya has been attracting increased interest from foreign investors keen to invest in the microfinance industry. Players now want the government to enhance regulation of credit-only microfinance institutions. So far, 32 applicants had been granted digital credit provisions licenses to operate in the country by the Central Bank of Kenya from a pool of over 400 applications.
Some of the time is actually lack of a capital and lack of funding. So that is what is the funding is actually what is the problem. So sustainability of these institutions would be very much thrive if there was that framework in place. Because even for the investors who come, they want institutions which have a proper framework that is guiding them.
Frederick Moki for Lunchtime News.
The month of November marks the beginning of the return of the wildebeest from Kenya's Masai Mara National Reserve to Tanzania's Serengeti National Reserve. The return journey is safer for the wildebeest with less noticeable dramatic attacks from predators. Today on Magical Scenes, we delve into the sights and sounds at the Mara.
On a late afternoon in the heart of the Masai Mara National Reserve in the county of Narok, the lighting on this savanna grassland is ideal for photography. The climatic conditions perfect for a memorable safari. This would be a moment of calm, harmony, and one of the best experiences to would-be visitors at the Mara. Thousands of wildebeests have begun their journey back to Tanzania's Serengeti National Park. The herds are seen moving south of Serengeti National Park between Ndutu Plains and Ngorongoro Plains. The wildebeest journey is less dramatic, with a few spotted predators or even none at times. This even as the wildebeest use different crossing points of the Mara River in their return to Tanzania on a sole purpose of following the rains. Nevertheless, the unrivaled wildlife and vegetation spectacle at the vast Mara unfolds like the peeling of an onion leaves.
So in Mauritius, you have a lush green, but here it's a natural green, and it's very not affecting your eyes. The game drive gave us a totally different experience, because usually what we do game drive, it's in the closed jeep. But today from 2 days we have an open Land Cruiser. So if animal is coming this much far for you, there's a sense of that thing he can attack to you. But yes, our guide was also very good. He was taking us everywhere. He didn't let us miss any animal.
Which makes, apart from the scenery, when the river is full, you're able to have some very nice views. Sometimes crocodiles and hippos, those they are not as many. But even just the aspect of the river view when you're having your breakfast, it gives a very wow feel and the bush feel in the camp. And also now the aspect of the privacy within the bushes, and you're able to admire the trees, the various species and the birds. And the other two concepts I'll say, apart from that extra activities that we do bush dinners. Yeah, and the same comes with the bush dinners. Bush dinners we do in the evening at night with a new concept we call Masai mock attack. Initially it was a bit scary because it's like you think you're being attacked, but actually they come from all over. Then they come and they dance for you, and it brings out the experience, because some of those is not even as much as the meals are sumptuous, but it's more about the experiences.
The month of November is equally good for birders at the Masai Mara. The migratory bird species begin to arrive at the park.
And I really felt it's special to have these campsites because there's no pollution, and we really get to see these animals like the baboons right next to our cars.
I feel like in this country is into the wild. Is this experience very unique? I think it's only in Kenya, in this like national park, national reserve, and in our country, in China, it's really rare we can have this chance to have that experience. So since the first day we came, we are also excited and enjoy this experience.
Well, the Mara is experiencing the short trains, and one would arguably not fail to spot at least one or all the members of the Big Five as they crisscross the habitat. Irene Uchuma Odim, Magical Sense in the county of Narok.
Japan's factory activity shrank for a sixth straight month in November, while modest growth in the service sector was witnessed, highlighting the fragility of the economy amid soft demand and inflation. Here are the details of these and other stories making headlines across the borders.
The AU Japan Bank Flash Japan Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index in Japan slipped to a reading of 48.1 in November from a reading of 48.7 the previous month. Although input price inflation eased to a 27-month low, it remained high and stayed above average in the series. Rising raw material, fuel and labor costs, as well as a weak yen, were among the major factors behind higher prices. The AU Japan Bank Flash Japan Composite Purchasing Managers Index, which combines both manufacturing and service sector activity, stood at 50.0 in November from a reading of 50.5. Elsewhere, Bangladesh's central bank says it expects $1.1 billion of loans from the International Monetary Fund and Asian Development Bank by next month, easing pressure on the currency and foreign exchange reserves. Bangladesh is facing a dollar liquidity squeeze, which prompted Fitch Ratings to cut the nation's sovereign rating outlook in September. The South Asian nation aims to bring inflation down to 8% by December and 6% by the end of the fiscal year in June. Finally, Turkey's central bank has raised its main interest rate to 40% as part of a concerted campaign to tackle soaring inflation in the country. The rise from the previous rate of 35% was much greater than expected. But Turkey's central bank suggested rates were approaching the level required to start lowering inflation. Inflation hit 61.36% in October and is forecast to rise further and peak in May next year at around 70% to 75%. While central banks globally have raised interest rates in an attempt to slow rising prices, Turkey President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has resisted economic orthodoxy previously, arguing that higher rates would cause prices to rise. However, since his re-election in May, his stance has changed.
And in the sports arena, hosts Kenya will face Sudan on Saturday in their opening match of this year's edition of the CECAFA Under-18 Championship at the Mamboleo Stadium in Kisumu. The regional tournament will kick off on Saturday, 25th November to 8th December in Kakamega in Kisumu and will be televised live on KBC Channel 1 and Y254.
Kenya will take on Sudan on Saturday on their opening match of this year's edition of CECAFA Under-18 Championship in Kisumu. Kenya are placed in Group A alongside Sudan, Somalia and Rwanda. Somalia will lock horns with Rwanda in the opening match at Mamboleo Stadium in Kisumu. In Group B matches, Zanzibar will face South Sudan, while Tanzania will face Uganda at Buhungu Stadium in Kakamega. Kenya will face Rwanda, while Somalia will play Sudan on day 3 of the championship. In other matches, Tanzania will lock horns with South Sudan, Zanzibar will play Uganda, Rwanda will take on Sudan, host Kenya will face Somalia at Buhungu Stadium, Uganda will face South Sudan, while Tanzania will play Zanzibar. The tournament will kick on Saturday 25th November to 8th December and will be televised live on KBC Channel 1 and Y254.
Sports Journalists Association of Kenya Football Club received 30 brand new football kits from LG Electronics as a way of showing unwavering support for sports and community. The sponsorship is not only aimed to cement the long-standing partnership between LG and SJAC, but also signifies a fresh chapter in the journey of SJAC FC. LG Corporate Communications and Marketing Manager Maureen Mora expressed the company's excitement about the new chapter, stating that the company is proud to kit the team. SJAC Secretary General Moses Wakesi conveyed gratitude, stating that kitting the team is a symbol of their partnership with LG.
And I challenged the president, Mr. Waindi, on how can we make this award even more enriching. And I'm happy that today we are here to do very special events. Besides the CSR, we also want to empower the sports journalists, SJAC FC team, so that they can go out there and be motivated.
We look forward to having more of these relationships with LG, and I believe that this is just one of the things that we'll do.
As SJAC, I know we are committed to support our football team. We will continue to support them. This is just the beginning, so there is a lot that must be done and will be done.
The annual Olbolosat Half Marathon and the Gator Run will be held this weekend in Nyandarua and Nairobi counties respectively. The races today received a sponsorship boost of 1.6 million shillings from Safaricom. The Olbolosat Half Marathon is geared towards raising funds for the restoration and conservation of the only lake in the Mount Kenya region. Over 1,000 participants from across the country are expected to take part in the 21-kilometer elite men and women, 10-kilometer elite men and women, and 5-kilometer veteran race, among other categories. Meanwhile, the Nairobi Gator Run is scheduled for Sunday at Gatina Primary School. The Gator Run targets to bring together professional athletes alongside amateurs, the community, and police forces. The race categories will include 15 kilometers elite, 5-kilometer community, 3-kilometer children, and 1 kilometer for people living with disabilities. Now, Sam Kerr scored a brilliant hat-trick to help Chelsea register a deserved 4-1 victory over Paris FC in the Women's Champions League at Stamford Bridge. The result leaves Emma Hayes' side 2 points behind Group D leaders BK Häcken, who beat Real Madrid 2-1.
Having drawn in their opener with Real Madrid, Chelsea kick-started their European campaign thanks to Sam Kerr's goals. Her first one came in the 30th minute of the match through a Lauryn James superb pass before Paris FC Reboval made it level a few minutes to the break.
Nice bit of skill and a lovely cross too. That's a superb goal. What about that for an assist from Lauryn James? Plenty forward here for Paris. Sissoko, the centre half, one of them. Berger thought about coming for it, then went back, and it's in! They couldn't keep it out. Cartier was on the line. Reboval was forwards. And Paris have levelled it at Stamford Bridge from a set piece.
The second half began in a similar fashion, with Kerr netting a second and third 10 minutes into the half to complete a hat-trick, while substitute Sophie Hingle added a fourth goal in stoppage time.
What a player! What a moment!
Real Madrid women were stunned by a second-half comeback from Häcken women after securing their lead 9 minutes into the game. The match ended in a 2-1 defeat, further postponing their first win of the campaign and leaving them third in Group D.
Looking for the ball up forward, looking for scrawled up, it's going to fall for the Kafaji! Rosa Kafaji! And the goal might be the recipient. It's Katerina Cazorla going for the left-footed shot, and she's found the top corner! Katerina Cazorla!
In other matches, Bayern Munich women registered a 1-0 victory away to Paris Saint-Germain, while Roma women defeated Ajax women 3-0.
Touch, and then the volley into the back of the net. Ajax playing out from the back, and that's a really poor giveaway. Chinti hits it wide. Chance for another delivery. Oh, what a volley!
Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this afternoon. Thank you so much for choosing KBC Channel 1. My name is Jackie Wambiru. Sign language interpreter is Brian Muraro. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.